Hello everybody and welcome to Jerry's Live, the very first episode of 2021. I am so excited to be here with you guys. Now let's address some things here. I know, you're all probably sitting there going, who are you? Where's Amy? I get that. If you didn't see our post on the Facebook page, there's a message from Amy, and long story short, Amy has officially left the Jerry's family, and as sad as that is that she can't be here with us, it's really exciting because she actually gets to go pursue her art dreams and is gearing up to go after what she wants to do, which is really exciting for her. And everyone here wishes her well and the best of luck on her art journey. So essentially, I am Emmy. I know that's a little bit confusing. Emmy. My name is Emmy Klein. I am an illustrator. I actually have my BFA from Ringling College of Art and Design. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I might have had a cup of coffee right before here. But yes, so I am an illustrator. I have gotten my degree, and then I was doing graphic design, freelance, professionally for far too many years. And I'm excited to be here for you guys and share my art knowledge. And I hope you journey with me on this endeavor, which is going to be super fun. So let's jump into some art here. Today's episode is JL180. And if you want to check out any of the art supplies that we are using today, just go to the Jerry's Jerry's website and type in JL180, and you should be able to pull up everything that I'm using. So today's project is a watercolor that is supposed to impress your love, or maybe not even your love, maybe your friend, maybe your parents. And this is a prep for Valentine's Day, technically, but you don't have to use this for Valentine's Day either. So what we're going to be doing is actually painting on some postcards, but not just painting one postcard. What we're going to do is we are going to take several postcards. We are going to put them together, and we are going to paint them all as one cohesive image, which is gonna be super fun. And then you actually get to mail them out one at a time, one every day, and then eventually, when they get the whole thing, they can actually form the whole picture all as one big art piece that you can gift them and they can enjoy for years to come, and is my personal opinion a little bit better than flowers for Valentine's Day. Like I said, this doesn't actually have to be for specific Valentine's Day, and I'm going to be using watercolors today, but I've done this before and actually sent it as a birthday present. Sorry for the glare. This was actually just pencil. That's the word I was looking for. Graphite pencil. And then I actually sent one per day to this person as a birthday present. And this is the very first time that they've ever held their son. So this is something that is hung up and framed on the wall, and one of the favorite art pieces in the house. So this frame as well is available in the cart, the link with the JL180, and you can actually check that out. The way that you would have to do this, just so you know, is that you would take the whole frame. It does have the normal backer on it, and then you have to order a second piece of glass, and then you just kind of sandwich it so you can see both sides of the postcard. So, I think before I drop that and make it break, let's get started. I think I'm just going to use 4 postcards today, just so we can kind of have a small, cohesive little piece that you guys can check out. So each one of these, when you get them, they come in a pack of, I believe, 20 postcards in one. So I'm going to just be using 4. The one that I used in that particular piece that I framed was 9. You can use as many or as little as you want, depending on the size that you want to actually create. So the way that I typically do this is the side that is stuck to the top they are stuck with glue, so you really want to make sure you remove that glue. Otherwise, when you stick your postcards together, there might be a little bit of a gap. The other way of doing it is by rotating it to where the glue's on the outside. Super easy to do as well. So, when you stick them together and line them up, make sure you guys can actually see that. All right, so they're not actually taped together. Clearly, they can move around. Now, because I'm going to be using watercolors on this, when you go to paint watercolor paper, if you're familiar with it, the paper will shift and buckle and move, which is why a lot of the watercolor pads come glued on all sides except for like a little corner. So you want to really make sure that you tape this down really, really well to where it cannot shift on you. Now, the easiest way that I found to do that is line it up. And hopefully my tape doesn't stick to itself. This tape, by the way, if it does stick to itself, just toss it and get a new piece because you are never unsticking it. I've learned that lesson the hard way. All right, so you really want to make sure you tape the inside right here, the seam. You want to tape it down really, really, really well. That will keep it from shifting right in the middle on you. All right, so let's see, here's the deal. This tape is also really, really easy to remove from the paper. It's just not really easy to remove from itself. I can see this one card has shifted on me. Woo. All right, so let me line that up a little bit better. Bear with me. All right, there it is. So now that's nice and even. There's no gaps. I can really push that down. So once you have the back taped like so, to where you have all the seams really, really taped down, you're going to want to flip it over and then you're going to tape this down actually to your gator board, which is really awesome. It is kind of a water resistant surface that is really sturdy, very lightweight. So if you're like moving around your house and maybe doing this while you're sitting on the couch, watching TV, whatever, this is an awesome surface because it can travel with you and will really make sure that your paper stays put. So then to tape it down to the actual board, the other thing you want to pay attention to is where your tape edges lie on when you're actually taping it to the board, kind of a thing. So it's going to leave a border on your artwork. So if you want this little chunk of the postcards to be white, or if you want that border to be a little bit bigger, you can. But wherever you tape that down, just be aware that that's going to remain completely white. Now, I'm sure you guys don't want to sit here and watch me tape cards to a board, so I prepared. This is already taped down. I made sure that my border, I kind of eyeballed it. It's pretty much the same all the way around. It might not be perfect, but that's okay. So then we're going to go in and we're going to do a resist method, which is super fun. I'm going to be using the Turner Artist Watercolor, which are the 18 set comes with a huge variety of colors. You can actually see here, I've already laid them all out on my palette, honestly, a day or so ago, so they're a little dry, not 100%, so some of them are a little squishy on the inside, but that's okay because they're watercolors, they will re-wet. And then I'm going to also be using the Turner masking fluid. This stuff comes in a jar, and it's essentially just a resist. Wherever you lay this down on your paper, will not paint. It will not accept any of the watercolor, which is really, really awesome. And with the method that I'm going to be using, you can actually use this for all types of different landscape. You can do the garden kind of scene that I'm about to show you, or you can even do clouds, portraits, sky's the limit. You can use this method for all types of things. The one thing to know about masking fluid is that it will destroy any brush that you put into it. So if you really like your brushes do not use them for masking fluid. There is the masking fluid brush set that they offer. I would highly suggest you get these. They come in, there's 10 different brushes, and I wanted to show you here, hopefully you can actually see this. This is what happens to your brushes. Oh, here, let me, yep, right, focus. This is what happens to your brushes when you put them in masking fluid, because I was testing this whole method out. Even this right here, I used it once just because I was like, oh, it's fine. It was not fine. This brush is essentially ruined. And then these are the actually masking fluid brushes right here. Let me, hopefully that'll focus a little bit better. This is just a solid mass. There's nothing, no brush left in that. And this stuff just does not come out. I don't care how long you pick at it, you are just going to be wasting your time. So, word to the wise, don't put any important brushes in your masking fluid. They're going to be throwaways. So any kind of cheap brush that you can find is where I would highly suggest you use this. The other option with masking fluid, I know, and I didn't actually grab one, is a masky pen, which is really cool. It's essentially kind of like a Elmer's glue bottle, but with a really fine tip, like a needle point on the end. So that actually is what you would apply the masking fluid with, and it actually almost right like a pen. You can do all kinds of sorts of things with it, but for this particular technique, I'm going to be using this. So, besides the watercolors, the masking fluid, I also have the Cezanne watercolor pencils. The reason why I pop these out is because if you are the kind of person who likes to sketch out kind of what you're doing, I would highly suggest with this technique you would actually use the watercolor pencils, just so if you don't like what you did, you can almost erase it by just, you know, watering it down, as long as you're drawing lightly enough. Or you can actually use these to kind of scribble in some color and kind of give it a little bit more dimension and interest. So besides that, I think we are ready to rock and roll, and then some good old water. So, let me grab, first things first, the brush. I think I'm going to use this brown brush first. And just like any other brushes, it does have a little bit of glue, just so that your bristles will stay nice and firm and in shape. So try to wash that off before you start using them. Not a ton of glue or anything, just a good rinse. And then I have my rag. All right, so let's get started. I'm excited. So excited I can't open the jar of masking fluid. Excuse me. Seriously?
You get it?
I can't. Oh, wait, we got it. This is what happens when you test your artist watercolor technique out and
It's
get a little messy. That didn't happen. All right, so we have our jar of masking fluid. Oh, the other thing about masking fluid is that it smells. There's no other way to put it. It's like a fart. It's a kind of a stinky smell, but just it's okay. Well, it's not too bad, but it does have a scent to it. So what I'm going to do first is get some masking fluid on my brush, and I'm starting with a pure white postcards here. So anywhere where I put this down is going to remain pure white. The thing with that is that I don't want too much white. So I'm going to be painting, actually before I get started on that, let me make sure I don't let my masking fluid dry on my brush, because that would not be fun. I'm going to be painting mostly organic shapes, kind of like a garden kind of scene. So I've got a shape in mind. If you're not 100% familiar with like foliage shapes, go outside. Go grab a branch off the tree or your bush that's right outside your house or wherever it may be. Go to the, your neighbor's garden. Just don't let them catch you. Grab a couple leaves. I mean, I know it's winter right now, so it's probably not easy to see any of them, but there's still an internet search. You can search for different types of plants and things. So
Or if you're like one of the people, like a bunch of our audience, they're up north and it's all under snow at the moment.
Yes, yes, you are all probably just looking out at your window at like pure white and going, what plants are you talking about? So if you're one of those people who are in actual snow, luckily we're not, because I am part lizard and need heat to survive. But if you are in a whole lot of snow right now, just use your internet search and maybe look for like plant silhouette or something like that, just so you're not looking at a whole lot of details. You're just looking at the outside of the shape of like a leaf or like a plant or something. So I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to pretend like I have, and I'm sorry, this is going to be really hard to see until I start actually putting a layer of watercolor down. So I'm going to pretend like I have kind of a plant with a little bit of like tiny leaves at the top that start getting bigger and bigger. And I'm not really paying attention to shape yet because they're just little dots. And then maybe a little thing right down the middle. And then maybe I'll do one over here. And the idea of what I'm looking for is I want to see a couple of light change kind of variations. So I might not paint the entire leaf at first. I might just paint just like the edge, just to kind of get the general shape to where it looks like the light is just hitting just that tip of the leaf. And then I might also get a couple of big leaves down here started, just for some variation and interest. Oh, that was a big blob of masking fluid. All right. And also remember to overlap your shapes. I mean, you probably don't want to do that just yet right now. But when you start getting further and further into this, you want to make sure that your shapes do actually touch, because that is the beauty of nature, is that everything is usually all over the place. So we want to kind of mimic that. All right, so I don't know if you can really see that. Sorry, guys. It's essentially white on white. So I'm going to use my Polar Flow 1-inch brush. This thing is nice, big, fluffy brush. It is really awesome for washes. I really, really enjoy it for that, just because it is so large. And the very first couple of layers that you put down, you really want to make sure you pay attention to where your pigment in your watercolors are landing. So if they do land kind of right on that edge, they will tend to kind of puddle there. And I'll show you a way to kind of take it off to where it's not really going to look like you have seams in your artwork. But the other thing with that is that you have to make sure that your masking fluid is dry. So to do that, sorry for the noise, guys. Just gonna hit it with a little bit of a blow dryer. You guys can wait for this. So if you lay down a couple of, can you still hear me, by the way? I just want to make sure that we're good. Yeah? All right. So if you do hit a little bit of the masking fluid, and then you make sure that, awesome, we are so good. If you lay that down and then go walk away and go get like a snack or go take a shower or something, like it'll be really dry really quickly. So you don't really have to wait too long. But you know, this is one of those things that is a really fun project, but it does take a lot of layers. And the layers you really need to make sure are dry in between. All right, so I'm going to start off with a little bit of the gamboge, which is a beautiful, funky yellow. I love it. So good. All right. So I do want my watercolor to get darker as it goes down. So I'm just going to really start off with a very fast, very quick layer here. And I want to just make sure that everything gets wet. So that way, when I start laying down the actual color, it can cover, and then you'll start seeing where I laid down that masking fluid. See how it's resisting? That's so pretty. I love it. So this is a bright sunshiny yellow. All right. There we go. Now you see how it's just starting to puddle just a little bit right in the middle there. And this is only really going to happen for the first couple of layers, especially if you get like more water on it, it will puddle. Get a little bit darker down here. So I'm going to take either a, that is masking fluid right there that just dropped on it. Excuse that. I'm going to take a rag or a paper towel and just kind of blot at my watercolors. And this is another way where you can actually control how dark or light that your watercolors are getting. So I like that, but I feel like I just took off a little bit too much of that yellow up here. So we're just going to, that was a bit much, which is okay. But if that's the case, I need to make this a little bit darker. Okay, so I'm just going to pat that. Now, it doesn't have to be super perfect. Don't worry about it, but I do want to make sure that those seams go away. Right? Yes. So again, you're going to want your layers to dry 100%. I'm trying to make sure that I work in really thin layers so you guys don't have to sit there and watch me make paint dry, because that'll be boring for you all. Ooh, I'm going to go back on low. It doesn't take very long for this to dry though. See, we are already mostly dry. So now that that is mostly taken care of, I'm going to go back in with some more masking fluid. I almost called it frisket. That's another term that you'll hear is frisket. Frisket masking fluid. It's kind of the same thing. Potato, potato. So I'm going to go back in with the masking fluid. And you see where I kind of just drew a little bit of the actual leaf or flower, whatever it is that you're imagining it to be. I'm going to actually go in and finish drawing that with my masking fluid. So that way it has a couple of different colors in the leaf. And then I'm going to add some more as well. And just like it would in nature, the leaves will get bigger as it continues to go down. And I'm going to, oop, that's a bit much on my brush. All right. Still not fully painting these big ones yet. And I'm going to also add in a couple of, let's call it blades of grass. That was a big chunk of masking fluid. Again, I'm not being super perfect. Just blobbing on some colors here and there, or some masking fluid. It doesn't have to be precise. Although if you are a precise person, I'm not going to hold that against you. Hopefully there are not a ton of questions about what I've done so far.
No, but if they do have any questions, they can ask in the chat, and we will be happy to relay them to you.
Perfect. And I'd be happy to answer. Alright, so I'm gonna, now that I got that kind of going, I'm gonna add a couple more of those little, kind of right where the plant starts. So that way I have, like I said, I have some that are in pure white, but now I'm gonna have some that start in that kind of yellow stage. Alright, I'm gonna add some more big leaves down here.
While you're doing that, we do have some questions.
Okay, what you got?
Danny Makes Things on YouTube was asking, said, I thought you shouldn't use the hot setting or get too close on the frisket. Can it either melt or burn?
I have never actually heated up my frisket enough to have that be a problem. I mean, I just do it enough to where it gets tacky on that top layer. I would imagine if you heat it up, because it is a rubber, that's the base of it. So that's why it ruins your brushes. But I never have hit it so much so that it's gotten that bad. I can do some experiments and get back to you on that. I can see how far I can push this. I'd be happy to. I have plenty of frisket in a jar. Sorry, I feel like that was like a non-answer. Sorry.
Then Lisa was asking, does it mean, or does it matter that if paint gets mixed into the masking fluid?
Not at all. Because, I mean, you'll see later on, I'm going to have, once I do a layer of paint on top of the masking fluid, it will kind of stick. It doesn't, since it resists it, it kind of sticks in like bubbles. It's a little weird. But it's going to stay on top of that, and then I might end up actually going back over it. But essentially, wherever you put that masking fluid, it's going to resist your watercolor. So it's not really going to mix well. But it hasn't ever actually ruined the watercolor. Sorry, I'm trying to like make sure I'm not going to glue this thing back down. That was not a fun way to open a jar. All right, I think I got the masking fluid out. All right, so I do have a couple of blades of grass. I got some more of those little plant thingies started. Now we're going to go in with the second layer, although I don't think my masking fluid is 100% dry. Yeah, so I'm touching it and I can see it kind of denting in, and I want to make sure that it's just a little bit drier than that, and I can see where I kind of puddled it, and those are the areas where I'm going to hit it with the hairdryer. Again, it's not like super hot, but it's definitely not cold, and I'm not going to put it on there for too long. Just enough to where it's going to not move, because if I were to apply the watercolor while my masking fluid is still wet, it would move the masking fluid, and then I'd have problems, and my leaves wouldn't look like leaves, they'd look like a smear across the page, and that is not what we're going for. Although if you do smear, make it look intentional, like you totally meant to do that, and if you just really, really hate it, they come in a pack of 20, you have plenty of chances. You might have what we call the first pancake, the first go around, right? So that one's just a little wet, but I think it's tacky enough. Yeah, I think we're dry enough to go with the second layer. So the second layer, like I did the first one with just the yellow, the gamboge. So the second layer, I'm going to start introducing a bit of red into it. So I want it to go from like yellow to red, orange, kind of to a dark purple. You'll see what I'm talking about when I get there. It's a process. So again, really, really messy, but you can kind of control where it's all gonna look like the sunshine's coming from, you know? So I want it to look like it's coming in from the top down. Now, just a little bit, that is a little bit more orange, but that's okay. Let me go in with a little bit of orange. Just smear it on. That's the fun part. This is a messy art, which is very unlike me because I have that illustration background. So my brain's like, no, you have to make it look like something. And doing this is not my normal. I'm usually very planned out with my artwork, which is okay. But this is kind of getting out of my comfort zone and having fun with it. It's just sometimes we just gotta do that. All right, so now I'm gonna take my rag, and again, I'm just gonna make sure it's not puddling in my seams because I just don't want that to look like a seam, you know? But now you can see, hopefully, there we go. I'll tilt it just a little bit. You can see right here where the pure white of that plant starts coming up, and then there's a little bit of yellow coming in through that second layer. So that's the idea, is that the more you keep layering these back on, the more, well, I'd say you probably want to do about 6 layers minimum, which seems like a lot, but once you actually start layering and layering and layering, it really isn't. But the more you layer, the more different kind of these color combinations you're going to get throughout here, which is super fun. And just enough to where it's mostly dry. And actually, I can show you while I'm doing that at the same time. I can show you another one that I've done to kind of test this theory out. Here, this is a, sorry, I'm going to try and like do this. Layering. So you can see like the pure white right here, where I kind of made it look like a flower shape. And then I had the leaf shapes coming through, and then you can see there was my first layer, where it's not pure white, it's the lighter green. And then they come through slowly but surely and get darker and darker and darker. But that's the idea of what we're doing today. And I think, oh, no, we have one spot left. Almost. That's probably good. All right, then we're going to go back in with the masking fluid. A lot of layers. All right, so I think I'm going to keep going with my little pointed round brush because I like the way that this is looking. All right, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to paint the rest of this thing, the rest of this, I guess, stalk to this plant. Now, while I'm painting this, I do want to let you guys know, we right now have a contest going on. Although would I call it a contest? It's more of like a really super awesome thing that you should just pay attention to right now. Yeah. So it's not a contest where you actually have to do like an art piece and submit it. What you gotta do is just nominate someone or nominate yourself, I think is an option as well. But it's an incredible opportunity. It is a $100,000 giveaway. I'm going to repeat that. $100,000 giveaway. Free money. Free money is awesome. So what it is Jerry's has a New Year's resolution to empower artists, and that is exactly what we're doing. We just want to make sure that everybody who wants to create can create. So there's going to be 100 artists who receive a $1,000 gift card. All you have to do is go to the link below. I know the girls are going to link it down there. And then they're going to just nominate someone. That's all you have to do. Go there, type it in, send it. And $1,000 in a gift card for art supplies. It is so exciting. I'm a little jealous that I can't do it, but that's okay. I'll let you guys have all the art supplies. But yeah, make sure you guys go check that out. It is an incredible opportunity, and you know, it's especially after the year that everyone's had. Everybody needs a little bit more art in our lives, so feel free to go check that out. And even if you're not an artist, go nominate someone, because I mean, how awesome would that be if you give the gift of art supplies, especially that much art supplies?
Oh, it's just $1,000. It's not specifically to Jerry's.
Oh, it's not.
It's if they want to spend it on studio space, if they want to spend it on art supplies.
There we go.
It is
Okay, so
whatever they need to make their art better.
I was misinformed. I'm sorry. I assumed, but you know what they say about assumptions. Yeah, so I guess never mind. It's $1,000 to spend it how you want. That's even better. Again, super jealous that I can't be included in this, but I am so excited for you guys to have the opportunity to go and participate in that. Like, that's incredible. So if you have a studio that you need to pay for, or I guess an electric bill that you need to pay for, you got options. But that's awesome. All right, so again, I'm just kind of going around and making sure that I really want to make sure I touch like every part of the canvas every time I do a layer of the resist, the masking fluid, because I want to make sure that these different layers of colors show through all around my my piece here. So it's not just one spot where the colors are coming through. All right, so a couple more big leaves down here, methinks. And maybe a blade of grass here. Don't forget to have some of your plants go off the page to where it looks like it just continues. It's not just right in the center. That looks a little bit more organic and less of a planned art piece, which, I mean, if that's what you're going for, you can also do that. All right, so check it out. I'm already getting a masking fluid crumble on the edge of my brush. So, I mean, I end up, every time I go in between these, I do rinse it off with water and try to pull off as much of this like wet masking fluid as possible. But even then, I'm already getting little masking fluid bits in this brush. It might be okay for maybe another piece after this, but eventually it's just going to be that solid rubber, which honestly, maybe you can actually use as another weird brush option. I don't know. All right, so now, you know what I think I'm going to do is actually go in with some the Cezanne watercolor pencil. So while this is drying, I'm going to actually just kind of just make some funky marks, which is, again, very unlike me, but, you know, I'm loosening up my art skills for you guys. This is, I might not actually completely go over this with water as well, so that way I can kind of keep those like pencil marks, but it'll add just a little bit something extra, you know? Which actually, when I did the tester, I definitely did not remember to use my color pencil. I think I left them over here in the studio and just totally forgot. So eventually you'll see the piece that I was testing out. then I can show you guys the reveal, the magical reveal, but it's not gonna have colored pencil in there. Okay, so this masking fluid is definitely still wet, and I want to keep going on this, but I feel like we are going to definitely run out of time.
You have about 20 minutes left.
Okay, so with that being the case, let me actually just show you what I've been working on that is this plus a couple of different layers. So here it is after you add quite a few different layers. So as you can see, I actually ended up, if you want to zoom out just a little bit so they can see both of these kind of side by side. It's off center. Sorry, I got a lot of stuff on my table. So as you can see, it actually did start off the same way where I had that really light yellow and I have some white going through there. But I already did a couple of layers of this red kind of right in the middle. And then I started going over it with this really dark purple, which is so much fun. Now, with that being the case, let me just get that out of the way. There are a couple of different things that I really like to do to finish this up before I actually take off all the masking fluid. This right here, Aqualift. It is a watercolor kind of eraser, which is super fun. Also, if your watercolors bleed to the back, just hit it with this and it's an eraser, so it will actually take it off the postcard part where you write if you want to kind of clean it up. If you don't mind it being a little bit messy, then you're fine. But the other thing that I like to do with these, all you have to do, what's magic eraser?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. It's essentially
It's like a ceramic sponge
similar to that,
thing,
yeah. So I like to just get it a little bit wet so it's activated, and then I'm going to take off some of this watercolor. So there's almost like little spots of light. Now, the one thing I don't want to do is scrub the bejeebers out of it because I don't want to take off my masking fluid. And this is, it's not like a rubber cement pickup. It won't actually pick it up. It just doesn't really grab the masking fluid. But as you can see, it kind of just took off just a little bit of that. And I don't want to take off the whole thing. I just want to add little highlights of interest, kind of different colors here and there kind of popping through, Almost like light coming through. All right, I'm gonna clean off my sponge. Since I actually was working on the dark purple, I definitely want to clean this sponge off a little bit before I start going up here. That way I don't smear the purple into my nice bright yellow. But you can see right here where hopefully you can, like right here where I had these two little spikes of grass coming up. They're a darker yellow, and as I'm erasing it, they're kind of just remaining that darker yellow because I put the masking fluid on it, right? So it looks really cool. All right. I like that dark right there. So let it dry, and then I hope you guys are ready for this because this is the fun part. Make sure it's nice and dry here. I'm gonna just hit it just one more time. All right. Now, for my rubber cement pickup time, this thing is amazing. If you've ever worked with masking fluid before, you're going to be sitting there rubbing it with your fingers, and it takes forever and a day to remove it all. So a rubber cement pickup, the entire point of it is to just pick up all your masking fluid. So this is an amazing tool, especially if you're using this technique. That is still a little wet right there, sorry. So here is what it's going to look like. See, it's like a sticky mess. But, I mean, it's kind of cool. You can actually peel off. Whee! So look how cool that is. All the different colors coming through. So you can really see that the watercolor does kind of stick to the masking fluid, but it has no effect underneath the masking fluid. It is completely clean as soon as you pull it off. Now, since I did start down here at the bottom with a little bit of the purple was just a touch wet, it's on my rubber cement pickup, so I'm just going to use the other side while I'm up here in the bright yellow area, just to make sure that I'm not like rubbing that color and those pigments back into my paper up here.
Does it matter how long the paint has been down for the aqua lift to stop being effective at lifting color?
The aqua lift. Oh, yeah, no. This I started quite a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago. I think it's been about a week. And then I did this final purple earlier today. But watercolor will continue to be active. Like, you can always re-wet it. So no, the aqua lift will peel it or pull the color right back up. Ooh. I definitely see, here's the problem. I definitely had water still on my paper right there, which is a bit of a bummer, but that's okay. So that's why I'm telling you guys, make sure your paper is dry. I just really wanted to make sure I show you what it looks like. It looks so pretty when it's done. All right. This part sounds awful. So once you get this all nice and clean, then I will show you briefly, hopefully if we have enough time, how to frame it. Because the cool thing about this is that not only can you send whoever is receiving this gift of art a little chunk of art every single day, which is kind of like, I mean, let's be honest, when was the last time you received mail other than bills? I mean, it's really awesome to receive physical mail that is not like junk mail or anything along those lines. So just to kind of get something physical like this, plus it's art as a gift, which is so cool. But you can also send them eventually the frame that I've used. It comes in all kinds of different colors, so there's like a pure black option. I happen to use the weathered gray one just because the piece that I had was a pencil drawing, so it looks really, really nice with the gray frame. So there it is with all of the masking fluid removed, except for right there, the little spot. Because I can actually kind of feel all of it's been removed, which is pretty cool. So that's what it looks like, and then for the peel. So like I said, oh, there's a little bit more masking fluid. Like I said, when you tape your paper down, wherever the tape is covering is going to be a border. So I added just a little bit of a border here, all the way around. Okay. Look how gorgeous! Woo! So, as you can see, my because I taped the backside really, really well, none of that kind of popped right back up because, yeah, like I said, watercolor will buckle and move on you. So if you do not tape this fully on the back like I showed you, it will kind of start to separate right at these seams, and that is so frustrating, and I'm hoping you guys, you better listen to me. Otherwise you're going to be fighting it. So there's my piece. How gorgeous is that? Now, I could just leave it like this, and then you could send your message on the back. And other thing to know is that when you send these through the mail, if you do not put them inside of a crystal seal bag, they will stamp them. The piece that I had here, I did not send through with a crystal seal bag. So you can actually see, if you look closely, there are little stamps from the post office on that, which I think kind of adds to it personally. But like this huge smudge right there, I'm trying to take the glare off of this. There's a huge smudge right here, which clearly I didn't add in, the post office did. Which again, if you're like me, like I think it adds a little something, like a little bit of a story to it. But if you don't want that on your art, totally understand. Put it in a crystal seal bag. We tested it, and they will go through the mail as long as you put the stamp on the outside of the bag, because they want to make sure that they stamp that. So I added the 4x6 crystal seal bags to the teacher cart JL180 search bar. It'll come up, so that way you guys can send these through the mail and it won't get ruined. But I can call this done. This can be officially finished, but I'm going to add a little something extra. So this right here, because I happen to know my cousin is redoing her entire garden, I'm going to be sending this actually to her. And she really loves the outdoors and plants and stuff like that. So I really love this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson, the live in the sunshine, swim in the sea, and drink the wild air. So I'm going to actually write that on here. But do I have a piece of paper? The one thing I kind of try to do before I write anything on my actual artwork is test it. So I think I kind of want to keep it at the bottom here. So when I send her this postcard and then this postcard, she's just going to be like, oh, this is so pretty, and then be happy about it. Then this one's going to come in, she's going to be like, oh, they go together. And then eventually she'll get all 4 of them, and it's going to actually say that. So let me just put here, just kind of drawing guides as to where my artwork, right? Yeah, that's how big it needs to be. How much time do we have left?
You got 7 minutes.
7 minutes, okay. So it's not going to be super fancy or anything, but I just want to make sure that my spacing is correct. See, if I had done that on my card here and it would have been off center, that would have bothered me. But something like that. Now, I'm also, by the way, I didn't actually show you guys what I'm using. This is the Posca gold pen. It is super opaque and one of my favorite gold pens of all time because it just goes on anything, and it has that nice shimmer to it. I'm sure you can actually see this. Look at the pretty shimmer. Swim the sea, drink the wild air. All right, so I kind of know how big my letters are gonna be, so I can sort of center them, right? Hopefully I don't mess this up. And if I do, she's very forgiving. She loves me anyway. All right, but if you do write on these, make sure you keep them nice and taped together before you do that. All right, I'm just gonna have to do it. Okay. Also, make sure you didn't misspell anything before you start writing. I've done that before and finished and was just like, oh no, which is okay. And I also have, I have the 2 different size Posca markers on the list. So you can see one's a little bit thicker than this. And as I'm writing this, I realize it just kind of gets lost. I mean, you can see it if you're really looking for it, but I think what I might end up having to do is just get a white marker and hit around the actual letters now that I've seen that. Yeah, even the thicker marker is just getting lost just a little bit. You live, you learn, you know. Which is okay. Live in the sunshine. Swim the sea, comma. Getting just a little bit of dry marker here. There you go. Yep, it is definitely getting lost a little bit amongst all of the busy, but if I do take a thin white marker and go around those letters, it'll pop right off the page. So, or maybe even black, just around the edge of the lettering there. That is the one thing that you do have to plan for, but that's okay. So let's quickly go over how to mount this for the frame. So when you actually get to the point where it's officially done, that's when you get to peel the back, the tape off the back here. Now, I would suggest you get a little bit careful when you are peeling right along the edges, because this tape, even though it's really good to release from the paper, just when you start kind of peeling it off of that, it might peel off a layer or so, but for the most part, it's pretty easy to release. Just stick that to the table. All right. So yeah, I'm going to be a little bit careful here as well, because I know that's where the two cards kind of meet, and I'm going to go this direction. Mostly when you're peeling tape off of a corner of a card, you never want to go straight into the corner, because that's when it typically takes off all of the paper, which is not fun. So I'm going to go down until I get to that corner, and then onto that corner, and then hold the corners and peel it. So you see how well this tape actually kept the watercolor from bleeding through. And now I have individual postcards that I can send, which is so exciting. So when you finally get to the point where you are going to mount these into a picture frame, again, you're going to want to turn them over, make sure you have them the right direction, because you do not want to mount them incorrectly. Then you flip it over. Again, what you can do is put them together and just take a piece of normal tape. Here, I'm just gonna get a normal piece of tape and kind of tack just the center where they're all coming together. And that will hold it together for you. Make sure you hit all 4 postcards. So then I have this, it's, what's the term? Transfer tape. This is double-sided sticky tape. It is clear. That way, when you do actually mount it into the picture frame, when you have it to where you can actually see the back side, there's a piece of tape right here and you can't even see it. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can actually, I'm probably at a wrong angle here. I'm trying not to also show you all of my personal messages. but there is a piece of tape right here, and you can just barely see it, only if you're really looking for it. It's pretty hidden, but you know, it's nice to be able to take it off the wall and then show anybody that it's actually a postcard, or like, well, multiple postcards. All right, so all I'm gonna do is take just like that much tape, the tiniest amount, and then I'm going to stick it in all four corners. I do like to put it right on the seam right here, and then when you peel up the backing paper, there's tape. It's sticky. It's really sticky. So the cool thing about that is that it's completely clear, and if you mess up and want to take it right back off, like I just peeled it right back off. It doesn't take a whole lot to get it really stuck down to the glass to where it's not actually shifting around. But if you mess up and you just need to take it off, just like rub it right with your finger and it will come right back off. So that, my friends, is the fun resist watercolor technique that I wanted to share with you guys today. Again, this is episode JL180, the very first of many in 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry for my spazzy intro. I'm a little nervous. So I hope you guys forgive me for that, but I hope you had fun. And if you do this, I would love to see it. Please show me. I do have a Facebook, what is the name again? I'm sorry.
Do you have a Jerry's Live specific Facebook?
Yes, a Jerry's Live specific Jerry's Live specific Facebook. Try saying that 5 times fast. It is, if you search for Emmy, host of Jerry's Live, you can find me that way. Feel free to
link in the description as well.
Oh, perfect. There's a link there. It makes it super easy for all of us. So tag me in your, or post it there, tag me in your artwork. I would love to see what you guys make.
We also tell them too, if they post it in the Jerry's Live Facebook group. Now I can't
it's hard to say it, isn't it?
Jerry's Live Facebook group. If they tag it with the JL180, then we can find it super easy.
Perfect. Please do tag it, because I would love to see what you guys make. And it's such a fun, messy technique that even me, who is usually very precise and very illustrative in what I do, it was a lot of fun just to get kind of messy and loose with it. And now I get to actually send this off to my cousin, who is going to just be over the moon. And even though it's, you know, I call this a Valentine Day kind of a thing, I'm going to send her one postcard every day up until Valentine's Day, just so she has something a little bit special. So even if you don't have another person that you're dating or anything, send it to a friend, send it to your mom. Your mom would love this. Let's be honest. Your mom would very much love this. And she'd be like, oh my God, he thought about me, or she thought about me, or whatever. You know, us moms, we love these things. They make us very happy. So I hope you guys have had so much fun, as much as I did. And make sure you join me next Tuesday, because I'm going to be doing impasto painting, which is going to be so much fun with acrylics. So we're going to get really thick with it, thick with 3 C's. So I will see you guys next time, and thank you so much for joining me.